Good morning everyone, it's Friday and we have come to the last lesson and looking at tenths and hundredths. So today we are dividing 1 and 2 digit numbers by 100, hoping to show that in some fluency and with some problem solving and reasoning. But before we begin, let's have a little look at just a quick anchor where I'm going to ask you to press pause. This is just a thinking one this morning to round off our week. What is a tenth and what is a hundredth? See if you can think of a definition. Okay, press pause and I'll see you in a little minute. So, let's think about tenths and hundredths and the relationship between tenths and hundredths. All week and last week we have been talking about 10 tenths being 10 tenths being 1 whole, 1/10 being equivalent to 10 hundredths. Okay, and we use our 100 square to help us. So to give a definition, we can say that a tenth is 1 part out of 10 equal parts. So when we were showing and representing a tenth on our 100 square, we were colouring in, we were shading in 1 whole row. And we said that that was 10 hundredths, but that was equivalent to 1/10. So a tenth of these blocks are highlighted, and we can write that as 1/10. Let's have a look at the definition of a hundredth, again using our 100 square, and it's where 1 part out of 100 equal parts is shaded in. So 1/100, okay? And they have said that 1 cent is 100th of a dollar. We can say, and remember when we use our money, we say that 1 penny is 100th of how many pennies? In a pound. 100 pennies in a pound. So 1 penny is 100th of a pound. Okay, let's have a look then. Back to our place value grid that we've been using this week. And we know that when we move along the place value grid, we either get 10 times smaller if we move to the right, or 10 times bigger if we move to the left. So today we've already said our destination is dividing by 100. We know that the direction when we divide is that we get smaller, so we move to the right. And let's have a look if we are dividing today 3 by 100. 3 divided by 100. Okay, let's get our division sign. And 3 divided by 100 equals. So how many places are we moving on the grid? Well, today we need to move 2 places, because when we move 1 column we become 10 times smaller, another column 10 times smaller, and 10 lots of 10 is 100. So if we move 2 columns we become 10 times smaller. 100 times smaller. Okay, our 3 counters have moved to our hundredths column. But what have we got to do here? Well, we need our placeholders. There is nothing here, but we need a placeholder to make sure that those counters don't fall back to where they came from. The placeholder will hold our place for us. So 3 divided by 100 is 0.03. We've got our placeholders and our 3 has gone into the hundredths column. So that's the basis of today's learning. This is a Catania chart. We looked at it yesterday. Slightly different to our place value chart because the numbers become 10 and 100 times bigger and smaller, but by moving up and down. So today you will have some questions where you may need to move up and down to solve the problem. What numbers are beneath the counters? 0.01, 0.02, 0.03. Remember we counted in hundredths at the beginning of the week. 0.04, 0.05, 0.06, 0.07, 0.08, 0.09. So what numbers have we divided by 100? How have I got to 0.09? If this is my answer, what did I begin with to divide by 100? Well, I must have moved 2 places down. 9 divided by 100, 0.09. My other one was 0.03. 3 divided by 100, move the counter 2 places. Okay? So, let's have a look. Lots of different representations. Everything we've been looking at over the last 2 weeks. We have got part-whole model, a number line, a Catania chart, a place value grid, and a hundredth square, and just a decimal on its own. Lots of different representations. We need to look for the one that shows 3/10ths and 2 hundredths. I'm going to let you have a little look just for a couple of seconds. Okay, so when we've got 3/10ths and 2 hundredths. As a decimal, let's think what 3/10ths look like. Well, it's a 3 in the tenths column with a placeholder. And 3 hundredths, we've just done it, a 3 in the hundredths column with our 2 placeholders. And 2 hundredths, 0.02. So 0.3 and 0.02, that's what 3/10ths and 2 hundredths looks like. Let's have a look what's represented here. We've got a 3 in the tenths column, and we have got a 2 in the hundredths column. And if we were to pop in our decimal point and our placeholder, we would have 0.32. 3/10ths and 2 hundredths. So this one, let's put a little bit of a green one on A. A shows 3/10ths and 2 hundredths. Let's have a look at B. So on the hundredth square, 3/10ths would be 3 rows coloured in, and 2 hundredths would be 2 little ones. Let's have a look. Well, I've got 1, 2, 3 rows coloured in, 3/10ths, and I've got 2 little ones, 2 hundredths. Altogether, 32 hundredths. So this one is representing 0.32, 3/10ths and 2 hundredths. Let's have a look at C. 0.23. Well, how many tenths have we got here? Let's just change colour. The tenths column is the one after the decimal point. So in this decimal, we have got 2 tenths. I need 3. Okay? So this one doesn't represent, we'll pink that one, it doesn't represent 3/10ths and 2 hundredths. Okay, let's have a look at our Catania chart, and we've got some counters with some hidden numbers. Well, we know from moving up and down our chart, the number here represented underneath the counter is 2 divided by 10, 0.2. And then here, we've got the whole number 3. So that's definitely not representing 3/10ths and 2 hundredths. Counting on our number line, we are counting in hundredths. 0.3, 0.31, 0.32. Brilliant. That's right, it's the same as A, 0.32, 3/10ths and 2 hundredths. This one represents 0.32. And then, is this place value, sorry, I did it again, I did that yesterday. Is this part-whole model showing, representing 0.32. Has it been solved? Has it been worked out correctly? 0.32, if we were to partition into tenths and hundredths, well, let's have a look at what we did right back at the beginning. We said that 3 tenths and 2 hundredths would look like those as decimals. And so F also represents 3 tenths and 2 hundredths. Looking at lots of different representations is really important, and that's what you're going to be doing today with your questions. Well done, superstars. Let's move on. So I'm just going to go through with you some of the different question types today, so that if you get stuck on silver or gold, you can just go back in the video. So we've got questions that might look like this. Drawing counters to show the answers. Remember, the place value grid has got to show the answer to the question. 13 divided by 100. So what I've done to begin with is I have put my counters onto the grid, but then I've got to do the all-important dividing by 100. So remember, which way do our numbers move? That's right, they move to the right. How many places? Brilliant, they move 2 places. So I'm going to move all of these 3 counters out of here. 1, 2, into that column. And I'm going to move my 110 2 places. 1, 2. Now we've drawn the counters to represent, to show the answer to the calculation. What actually is the answer then to this calculation if we were to write it as a decimal? 13 divided by 100 equals, what have we got? 1 in the tenths, 3 in the hundredths, so 0.13. Okay, well done. This time, I'm going to get my counters up. 24, which means 2 counters in the tens column and 4 counters in the ones column. Okay, divided by 100, 2 places to the right. Let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And our tens, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so what have we got represented here? A 2 in the tenths column and 4 in the hundredths column. And so as a decimal, we need our placeholder, we need our decimal point, and 2, 4. 24 hundredths, because we are dividing 24 by 100. 24 hundredths, okay, 0.24. You might get some questions then, looking like this, where you haven't got to use counters, but you can use the numbers, you can put the numbers in the grid to help you. So this time, if I'm starting with the number 3, and I'm going to then move the number 3, dividing it by 100, 2 places, and I can then use my placeholders to, there we go. So my answer would be 0.03. Have a quick little look at these and see if you can, with some fluency, just have a think about if the 2 goes in the ones column, move it 2 places, what would my answer be? Have a go at those. Press pause. Okay, so you press paused and you have pressed play. And we are back right then. So we had a 2 in the ones column, 1, 2 places. We are going to complete our answer by putting in our placeholders. Let's have a look at this one. A 6 and 2 places, 1, 2. Use our placeholders, 0.06. And a 5 in the ones column. 2 places, 1, 2. And our placeholders. Okay, 0.05. Similar question, but a missing number this time. So we've got to think, if we end the answer, if our end goal after we have moved the numbers is 0.27. So 0.27 on the place value grid would look like this. Okay. That's after I've moved them 2 places to the right, which means to find the answer that we started with, or to find the number we started with, we have got to move those digits 2 places to the left. 1, 2. I'm not going to worry about the 0, so that can go out there. Let's move this 2. 1, 2. And let's move the 7. 1, 2. This time I don't need any placeholders because I have got decimal numbers here. So 27 divided by 100 gives us 0.27. Okay. So let's have a look at this one. 0.32. Okay. On our grid. Move them 2 places to the left because we are doing the inverse. So the number we started with, 1, 2, is 32. 32 divided by 100 is 0.32. I'm going to do exactly the same for these two. Have a little go yourself, press pause, and then come back and press play, and I will go through them with you. So 0.5 represented on the grid would look like this, and in exactly the same way we are going to move 1, 2, the 0 can go, 1, 2, well done. 5 in the tens column. This time we do need a placeholder because I've got an empty column before the decimal point. So 50 divided by 100 is 0.5. And finally, let's have a look what 0.06 looks like. Move everything 2 places, 1, 2 to the left because we're doing the inverse. 1, 2, don't need that number either. 1, 2, 6. And that's it. I don't need any placeholders after the decimal point. 6 divided by 100 is 0.06. Okay, so we are up to having a look at what our challenge is today, dividing 1 and 2 digits by 100. We've got silver questions, exactly like we have just gone through today. Drawing counters on the place value grid, writing your answers as a decimal, and completing the missing number divisions. So if you need to, go back in the video and see where I went through those types of questions. Okay. We have then got for gold our Catania chart. Again, go back in the video if you need to help you to see how that Catania chart works. Explanation for some of those questions, and then lots of practice. Remember, our destination was to become fluent. So we need to practice our question types to gain fluency. Okay, well done for gold. And for platinum today, you are doing some reasoning. You are looking at different possibilities, comparing answers, and smallest and largest. Okay, so a nice little bit of an investigation, thinking about dividing numbers by 100. As always, this video will be on our blog for you to look at, as well as here is the link to White Rose. And you can get the activity. I will pop the questions on there, your worksheet, but also if you want to then mark your answers, here are the answers. Questions 1 to 5 silver, 6 to 8 gold, and 9 and 10 platinum. Well done, superstars, this week. Well done for sending your work back in. Please don't forget to contact me every day. Please don't forget to take photographs of your work and send them. Okay, and I'm going to be putting another few videos on there today as well for maybe some stories. Please email any questions that you have. Okay, Don't sit there and be stuck. You are absolute superstars, and just think it's Friday, so get your maths done this morning, get some of your English and topic work done, and then it's the weekend and you can have some fun. Happy Friday and happy learning. See you soon.